Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi everyone. First of all, I'm so honored to be here to participate in this competition in conjunction NILAM Award 2023. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Seri Adani Khairani Binti Noorihsham. I'm 17 years old and I'm an active student from SMK Bandar Penawar. As a student, I'm quite busy on weekday. However, at weekend, I have so much free time. During my leisure time, I very often read books instead of study. I love to move up in the world created by the other. I forget about all the problems and I cut from everyday life. Books really provide me with a lot of emotion. When a book will interest me, I can't stop reading it. I have just finished reading a British scientific book. Can you guess what? Yes, the title is Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. It is an inspiring novel written by a renowned editor, Walter Isaacson. Walter Isaacson, the CEO of the Aspen Institute, has been chairman of CNN and the managing editor of Time magazine. He is also added a lot of fascinating books such as His Life and Universe, also Benjamin Franklin and American Life, a biography, and is the co-editor with Evan Thomas. He and his wife live in Washington, D.C. This book was published in 2011 by its own editor, Walter Isaacson. I still find myself fascinated by the life of Steve Jobs. Now that I'm a little older and what's made me finally decide to purchase the book. This is very simply the story of a boy who was abandoned by his birth parents, raised by loving and caring adoptive parents, and one in spite of the demons that accompanied him throughout his life to change the world on his own terms in a positive fashion. What a wonderful legacy to leave the world with! He demonstrated to humanity that regardless of how you come onto this planet, you can choose to have your own impact. You don't have to accept what is. Everything originates with an internalized idea of fantasy, and then from there, it's the reader's choice as to whether to process it into reality, and Jobs created many realities. Steve was a very unique individual, and that was a good and a bad thing. In some areas, he was definitely a genius. I would also say he was eccentric and a narcissist. If you read about many very intelligent people throughout history, there were very often dark sides to them, almost as if the unique aspects of their minds had to be balanced by issues in other areas. Some say Job was functioning psychopath. I have no idea if I would go that far, but it's obvious from reading the book that he was very good at everything what he did. I can logically make sense of an intelligent person like him falling so much for nonsense when it comes to food and anything like he did. The biggest issue is, not surprisingly, the way he treated people. Years ago, to be honest, I would have condemned Jobs, but my own experience in life have caused me to have mixed opinion now. How successful would Apple have been if Jobs did not act the way he did? We can only guess, but I'd be willing to bet good money not as successful as turned out to be. Yes, I do believe Steve Jobs went over the edge with thieves at times, and I could never be like him. But accountability is important, and when you are just a nice guy, people take advantage of you or don't take situation as seriously as they should. Steve didn't accept less than the best, and he was very brutally honest about it with the people around him. This day, I feel like there is a little bit of Steve's life in the way I do things and say that it's okay. There needs to be balance in all things. But for Steve, everything was very black and white, and then push him to extreme. Most people would not feel comfortable using their own life. I have read many of the 1 and 2 star reviews and find myself disagreeing with some of the points made in those reviews. I don't see the book as being all negative and avoiding the good things about safe life. It just stated things as they were. Intelligent people can put the piece together, and each of us has to come to our own conclusion after reading the book. He accomplished some amazing things in his life, and he seems to truly enjoy what he did right now. On the other hand, most of his life he was not a great family man, and he was not that great to the people around him, which has brought out some extreme opinions from those who worked with him. He was an imperfect person in many ways, but he also accomplished things that most of us can only ever dream of. I wish I had the opportunity to spend time with him and really want to see him and learn from him. To be honest, in my perspective, overall, the book is very good and will leave you deep in contemplation once you are done as to what kind of person Steve Jobs really was. The good and the bad, the extreme in his life, and how he did with people in general. Again, I finished the book and come away with a greater respect for Steve Jobs. And I think if you can read between the lines a bit, and really spend some time thinking about what you read, you will also come away having some different thoughts, regardless of whether you like or dislike Jobs or Apple. The book may not be perfect, and we are only spectators who were not a part of Jobs' life, but the book accomplished what it needed to, and overall, the experience combined both sides of Jobs into something dignified. That's all it needed to do. Perhaps more importantly than everything else, Job and this book is a testament to every human being struggle to become. To fulfill the individual and unique destinies each person has, regardless of how much time that person is allowed to fulfill them. In the case of Steve Jobs, it was so too short, but then there is still time for the rest of us. Thank you for hearing this review, and do please give yourself the chance to read this remarkable book by a remarkable author about a man who gave his all and then kept coming back to give more, profoundly shaping and reshaping the way humans think and act and live our lives. Thank you so much.